Hi, I'm Adam Kingle, and for about 16 years, I have been looking at the different paradigms about work, careers, life, and leadership among all the generations in the workforce. I wrote a book about this called Next Generation Leadership. One of those things that I looked at was digital natives versus non-digital natives. And we saw how the internet and social media helped create a more connected community among particularly Gen Ys or millennials. There's a new technological paradigm that's emerging, particularly among Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, and that has to do with AI. And I think part of our role as leaders at this point in our history is to determine when we need to tap the brakes in terms of when we could and should encourage people to use AI to make decisions, et cetera, and when to say, but is that actually giving us better answers? As evidence of my point, expressing this skepticism, I would like to share with you as evidence a conversation I had with AI. So this reminds me of that wonderful article that was in the Sun newspaper of New York in 1897, where a little girl was asking if Santa Claus exists, and she said, "Well, Papa says if you see it in the sun, it is so." And it reminds me of a point I hear too often, which is, well, if I see it in Chat GPT, it must be so. Well, please tell me the truth. Well, let me share with you a conversation I had recently with Chat GPT. I was trying to find out the difference in times between Brussels and Brisbane on the 12th of May, 2025. And I asked ChatGPT, what is the time difference between the two? And ChatGPT said, well, it's 9 a.m. in Brussels. It'll be 4 p.m. in Brisbane, a difference of 8 hours. I said, wait, ChatGPT, surely you mean 7 hours? And ChatGPT says, oh, yes, you're right to point out the difference is 7. I apologize for that mistake. Thank you for catching that. So I said, wait, ChatGPT, there's a 7 hour time difference between Belgium and Brisbane in May 2025. Is that what you're saying? And ChatGPT said, oh, apologies for the confusion. Upon review, it indicated here is the correct time difference. When it's 9 a.m. in Brussels, it'll be 5 p.m. Again, thank you for the earlier mix. Thank you for your patience. Really? ChatGPT? So you see the point I'm making. This is uh, this is hardly a perfect tool. Now we know that ChatGPT and other Gen AI tools sort of are the sum of sort of knowledge and data on the internet, and then make predictions about what is more likely to be true. Not always giving us objective answers, particularly with something like my question about time differences, which is really a maths problem that you really wouldn't assign to anyone over about the age of 13 in school, and ChatGPT still got it wrong. So let's just be wary at this point in time of when and how our people are using ChatGPT, and that might just be a question to ask if you're a leader and decision making is one of your KPIs. If you'd like to find out more about me, please jump to my website, which is adamkingle.com.